Hey everyone, welcome to Mirror Image Co, the online styling and coaching platform that helps you attain a visionary lifestyle. Now today's video is going to be a coaching video and it's going to be on developing purposeful connections. We all need connections, whether it's in the workplace, through networking. You never know who the next person may be to get your next role or to put you in touch with a new business opportunity. In your family, you need healthy connections. With friends, it's key to have healthy connections, and also just in general in life. And so it's so important to have the skills that will allow you to develop these healthy connections. No one is born knowing how to develop these or how to identify them or how to be a participant and to be the person who instigates healthy connections. So I hope this video helps you with your professional and personal connections. So I got a few tips, and the first one is know your purpose. It's so important to know why you're here, what you're doing, and it can be your overall purpose. That may take some of us a little bit longer than others, so don't fret about that. But it could be even knowing your purpose in a given situation. So when you know what your purpose is, you can be able to determine who really can help you and who really is a hindrance to that. If you know what your goals are, if you know what you want to achieve in a particular season, you can be able to identify where and how to spend your time and with whom, importantly, and whether that will actually either grow you internally or move your life forward. Now, this doesn't mean that you eliminate or that you dismiss anybody who doesn't appear at first to be helpful. It just means that you have a way of deciding who can be able to be an asset to your life and not a liability. And the same for you as well, same for others when they interact with you. We all make time for who we want to, and we all make time for what's important, and we need to prioritize. So just as other people prioritize about who they spend time with, it's important that you do the same in line with your goals. The second tip is understand that friendships are seasonal. Same with jobs nowadays. You know, we live in a very fast economy, and so just as there's fast fashion, there's now a fast economy, and now people are turning over there's a high turnover in their jobs, but there's also seasons in life where things change. You know, in school you have a group of people that you're put into a class with, but then you go to university and you then start that journey as an adult to be very selective about who you spend time with and what you formulate and how you consider and who you consider to be your friends. So each season brings with it different things as you enter into the workplace, as you maybe develop a personal relationship and start a family. Things like that will mean that how you spend your time and who you decide to spend it with will ultimately change. It's so important to be mindful that friendships are seasonal, and it's okay to outgrow some things. It's okay to, as you progress, as you grow in life, to lay aside some friendships or even some work connections. That doesn't mean that it's some negative situation, but it just means that you're aware of how life is cyclical. And my third tip is have appropriate boundaries. It's so important. These are so key because they're not I would say a wall. It's more of a fence to allow sort of good influences in and to keep bad influences out. Everyone needs boundaries, even with their closest loved ones. It's so important to not only establishing but maintaining healthy connections. And so we usually have those in the workplace just because we have policies and things in place, but the same way that you would take your time, for example, when you're sort of going for a job, the employer will have you send in a resume, then they'll have you come in for an interview, then they may come in and have you do numerous tests, then they may have an informal setting which they see how you interact with their other employees. And so there's stages to this. So just as they have boundaries for who they employ, so you should take care about who you have in your life and have different steps that allows people to build trust with you and to build gravitas and influence in you. That's not something that should be given away readily just because somebody has the right words or has the right style or approach to you. It just means that you have an ability to, cordon off your life in a healthy way and ensure that understand that others know that because you value yourself, you value them also enough to go through those stages with them. So that's number 3, have healthy boundaries. And number 4, evaluate how you feel following an interaction with an individual. Do you end up feeling belittled, shrinking back? Do you feeling like you have to prove yourself? Are you guilt tripped if you're not, doing something or somewhere where they may expect you to be, but they have no idea about the priorities in your own life? These are things that, and I'm looking down at my notes here because it's such an important point. You have to understand that those small interactions are going to influence and should actually inform who you allow in your life and what a healthy connection is. So if you are coming away from that interaction not feeling anything or feeling anything but positive, and that is a continual habit, or coming away from that interaction feeling that you have to be so on your guard, you have to be so careful about what you say and how you say it for fear that it may be interpreted or misunderstood, then those are not really connections that you want to keep long term. Those are connections that you want to keep at arm's length, and those are what I would call seasonal connections. And so it's important to understand that even if you have your own opinions, you have your own mindset, you have your own boundaries, as I said before, if you come away being given the impression that you should be less than, or that you should shrink back, or there's a negative sense to that conversation, no matter how jovial the overtones, it's important to analyze that and not ignore your gut. Your gut feeling is always right. I can't remember a time that mine was wrong. And so your head may talk you into something. It may think, oh, you're just overreacting. And your heart sometimes can be a little bit too emotional. So you may, again, as I said, going back to my point about boundaries, you may give somebody a trust that they may not have earned. But your gut is always something that tells you, hey, wait a minute, this is something that we need to either explore, or this is something that you may need to put a few brakes on and put some distance between you and that individual. So I hope these tips help you to develop healthy connections, because this is not just a personal thing that you implement in those who you spend time in your free time. This can be implemented across your career. Know and have a good sense of self, having good boundaries and having the ability to take the time to get to know people. You can still be kind, you can still be cordial. It's so important. And understand and don't allow people to insert themselves into positions within your life which they actually haven't earned. And that way you can show other people how to treat you by how you treat yourself. So make sure you catch us on our website. We've got our boutique, as I always say. It's got great collections. We've recently added new items, so check it out. We're at mirror-imageco.com. That's mirror-imageco.com, and I'll link it in the description bar below, as well as our social media. Follow us on Instagram, and we're on Twitter, so you can see all that's coming up with us. But I really hope this video helped you, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye.